I think it's easy to forget just how amazing Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn truly was. And I say was because soon enough in patch 5.3 it will be changing to better streamline new players into the later parts of the game, thus preserving its legacy in the minds of veteran players the world over. Now, there might be some out there who jump in and ask, how is this an unpopular opinion? To which I'd say, I'm glad we agree on that fact. But as it relates to Final Fantasy XIV and the masterpiece that is the Shadowbringers expansion, it's become quite clear how A Realm Reborn is received by, let's just call them newish players. Now, when we talk with Skill Up and when we talk with other content creators, the idea of having to get through ARR to get to the good stuff is clearly present. And when we counsel new players who struggle on their way to Heaven's Word just to keep on going, it reminds me of how far we've come and at the same time, wish people could see the game the way that I see it. So that's the goal of this video, to share with you my love for Drybone, to share with you the impact A Realm Reborn has had on my life and just how amazing it was when it released back in 2013. Now, before we dive into my semi-retro review here, I do want to say in this video that we're giving away a Golden Nimbus mount to one lucky person. But we're also going to be doing so much more than that later in January. I'm going to be giving away some Amazon gift cards. Right now I'm thinking $50 at the time of this recording. Now, if you want a chance to win the mount or you want a chance to win an Amazon gift card, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, so that you're going to get notified when our videos actually get posted. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Work2Game, where we're going to give you a heads up before the video goes live. And as far as the Nimbus mount, I'm going to share with you the phrase that I want you to put in the comments below later in this video. So good luck to each and every one of you, and I hope that we can do some really cool giveaways in 2020. So my relationship with A Realm Reborn really is a relationship with Final Fantasy XIV as a whole. I still remember back when Final Fantasy XIV was announced back at E3 in 2009. I remember standing up and cheering at the top of my lungs, full of excitement about what is to come. As a longtime Final Fantasy XI player, I've been looking forward to some next generation MMORPG to follow up 11 for some time, be it a sequel to 11 or something different. As this time, World of Warcraft's popularity exploded, and it was hard to sit back and see some of the things that they were doing in their game and wishing that it could be done in Final Fantasy XI. And so Final Fantasy XIV could potentially be kind of that bridge between 11 and some nice quality of life features that we've wanted for a long time. Now, it was that announcement at E3 that actually propelled me into content creation and eventually, years later, onto YouTube. Despite the poor reviews and the poor reception, I was and am a believer in Final Fantasy. I was always thinking the quote-unquote update that would fix the issues was just right around the corner. And while that update eventually did happen, it would still take many more years for that to come to pass. But I kept playing the game due to the first introduction we had to Yoshi P, and in his first letter from the producer, which was released to us on January 1st, 2011. Now, it's from that point on, he led the team to not only make the 1.x build of the game very enjoyable, but also delivered on the promise to relaunch the game in its 2.0 state. It was wildly ambitious and perhaps a little foolhardy, but it still ended up being wildly successful, and that's why A Realm Reborn is so remembered. So in-game, I was there. Eorzea fell into chaos and eventual destruction, but something that hasn't happened before did. It was reborn. And I remember stepping back into the Black Shroud for the first time while testing out the beta for 2.0, and it was breathtaking.
You're breathtaking!
What once was a tangled mess of a world was brought to life with sounds and colors partly familiar, but something that I couldn't help but take my breath away. I'm still a bit bummed that my new home isn't actually Gridania, being that your class is actually so tied into your starting city, but at least I was able to select the Twin Adders as my grand company, thus hailing from Gridania in some way. So as soon as the beta started, it ended, and the long wait until the release of the game had begun. It's funny for me to actually reflect on this, because since they announced Summoner would be joining the game as the fabled Arcanist, and it also would be connected to the Scholar job, my life wouldn't be the same. When ARR launched, my character was already level capped on everything but this new job, and that made my decision to start in Limbs of Lamenza assured. Both the Arcanist and the Musketeer were two classes that were originally planned for some time in the 1.0 series, and they were going to be totally different from what we ended up getting. But since that future really never came to pass, what we ended up getting was this first class to multiple job system that I loved. And sure, it had its flaws, especially when you look at the bonus stat allocation that came with the game in 2.0, but overall it gave me the ability to level up two jobs at the same time. And it's with that change that I found myself leveling up Summoner Scholar for every expansion going forward. Ultimately, when you look at how the game is designed and evolved, it's become clear that those things do need to be eventually separated, and I don't know if that will one day happen, but at the time, it opened up a world of possibilities for the class and job system that was present at the start of 2.0. It gave everybody reason to speculate and reason to be excited about what their favorite job could be and how it could be connected to the core base classes of the game. Obviously, that future never came to pass, but at the time, I tell you, it was truly majestic, really exciting, and electrifying to be a part of the conversation and speculation around the game as to what it could be and where it could go. Now, I also don't know if anybody's going to find this particularly funny, but being that I had already leveled up all my jobs in 1.x, I did actually forget to do some of their class quests when it came time to get their relic weapon. I was actually really confused as to why I couldn't start the quest. It really only impacted a small number of us, but at the time it actually really threw me for a loop. But beyond that, and beyond the story and beyond the gameplay, ARR did something epic, and it delivered on its promise with each patch. The amount of content that was really overwhelming, from 3 dungeons each patch to new primal fights, all rounding out the 6 primals of A Realm Reborn, as well as many other trials were introduced. We really didn't know what was coming. We really had no idea what to expect. We really had nothing to set our base expectations to. And in ways, this was a golden age for the game because there really weren't any expectations that we had predetermined. And with an impressive list of features that they would continue to add to the game patch over patch, everyone was always beyond excited to see what was next. What surprises did the development team still have in store for this chance of a game? Now, this is where, when you actually look back at the game now, you see a lot of quote-unquote bloat or filler quests that really were kind of between the meat of the story. I often actually remember that filler quest as something really exciting because it was actually something to do in the game, rather than something just to get through. This was all due to it being current, being caught up, being where everybody was. It was always electrifying and energetic to be connected into that type of community at the time that this was live and current. We were always just waiting for the next bit of info to drop on us about this world, about the conflict with the Empire, about the mystery of the Echo, about everything. Now, for a game that the majority of the world had written off, to be reborn onto this world as a subscription-based game, nonetheless, and to actually come back from the brink, this has honestly set a new tone on how to issue an apology when it comes to game development, and it's truly breathtaking.
You're all breathtaking.
You don't need to agree with me regarding A Realm Reborn, mind you. That's just how I see the world and how I remember it. It wasn't perfect, no game is, but it was a masterpiece. Not for only what it did in the game, but also how it set itself up to truly change Square Enix and the future of Final Fantasy in whole. And with that, let's go ahead and give away a mount, shall we? If you're one of the first people to leave a comment saying, "I'll be your golden huckleberry," in the comments below, you'll be the winner. I'll need you in Discord, mind you, that way I can message you the code, so you can find the link in the description of this video. But don't forget to also ring that bell, as again, we're going to be giving away some more stuff in upcoming videos. And the only way that YouTube really wants to notify people is obviously if they ring that bell for some reason. So with that, I wish you all luck, a happy new year, and much more. We're going to be doing the same thing actually over on my Ginger Prime channel, link in the description. If you like video games and you like my thoughts, or if you don't like my thoughts, I don't care really, whether you like it or not. If you're interested, go check out the link in the description for that channel as well, and be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Too, that would be really helpful and exciting, and thank you. Now, regardless of whether you agree or disagree that ARR was a masterpiece or it wasn't a masterpiece, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. This has been really a just incredible journey. You don't get Heavensward, you don't get Stormblood, you don't get Shadowbringers without A Realm Reborn. And to be a part of that for so long, coming up on 10 years of game played, with 10 years of covering this game, with 10 years of just being a part of this community, it truly has been the most incredible journey that I have ever been on. I think I'll always remember ARR fondly. I think every time I go into those zones, I wish there was more reason to bring me back. Obviously, with the majesty that is Shadowbringers, I'm so in love with those zones and how it all comes together. But I wanted to take this time to talk about my love for A Realm Reborn, to talk about how and what it was and what it will always be to me, because no matter how you engage with it, I think your opinion and your experience with it is what actually matters. It doesn't matter what I say, some random YouTuber posting a video of his thoughts on the internet. But it is important to see how it's impacted the overall industry as a whole. It is important to recognize what this means going forward, and how all games, whether they succeed or fail, will actually be judged based off of A Realm Reborn and based off of success, especially if it's a game that has failed. You'll obviously see me talk about, can they do A Realm Reborn? Can they reborn this? Do they have their own version of a Yoshi P to really see this through? But it also goes beyond Yoshi P, because it's also the leadership at Square Enix who got behind him. The art and business world relationship often comes into conflict with gamers, with our passions around gaming, because it is kind of, unfortunately, maybe a necessary evil when it comes to the art. And that's why A Realm Reborn, in my mind, is a masterpiece, because it so truly represents art in modern society today, for what was accomplished, for what they continue to accomplish. And obviously, we'll have to see where they go from here. That's why it's interesting to see how 5.3 is going to change it, because it's only experienced the way it is now, and that's going to change forever in 2020. And so with that, I encourage you to go and experience A Realm Reborn if you get the opportunity. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and like I said, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, or on our Discord, or over on Twitter. Good luck and congratulations to the winner of the Nimbus mount. Thank you guys for watching this video. I love you very much. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you in my next video. Take care.